In a kingdom shrouded by mist and ancient whispers, there lived a prince named Alaric. Unlike the kings and princes of old, his heart wasn't set on conquest or riches, but on the hidden stories of the land. From a young age, he was drawn to the forgotten corners of the royal library, to dusty maps and tales of magic that others dismissed as folklore. His favorite story, the one that truly captured his imagination, was that of the Whispering Woods, a place said to be enchanted, where time itself danced to a different rhythm. The legends spoke of a maiden cursed to live within the woods, her beauty as timeless as her sorrow. One day, driven by a curiosity that bordered on obsession, Alaric decided he would find these woods. He packed a simple satchel, donned the clothes of a common traveler, and slipped out of the castle under the cloak of twilight. His journey was long and arduous. He crossed roaring rivers and climbed jagged peaks, his only guide the cryptic verses from a leather-bound book he carried with him. The verses spoke of following the setting sun until the trees learned to whisper your name. After weeks of travel, he stood at the edge of a forest unlike any he had ever seen. The trees were ancient giants, their leaves shimmering with an otherworldly silver-green light. As he stepped across the threshold, a gentle breeze rustled the leaves, and for a fleeting moment, it sounded as if they were whispering his name, Alaric. A shiver ran down his spine, not of fear, but of wonder. He knew he had found it, the Whispering Woods. Deeper he went, the air growing cooler and filled with the scent of unknown blossoms. The light filtering through the canopy was soft, casting ethereal patterns on the mossy ground. It was in a sun-dappled clearing that he first saw her. She was sitting by a crystal-clear spring, her fingers trailing through the water, creating ripples that glowed faintly. Her hair was the color of spun moonlight, and her eyes held the deep, melancholic wisdom of 1,000 sunsets. She was more beautiful than any legend could describe. Her name, he would learn, was Elara. She was bound to the woods by a powerful curse cast by a jealous sorceress centuries ago. She was not a prisoner in the traditional sense. She was a part of the woods, and the woods were a part of her. She could not age, she could not leave, and she could only be seen by those whose hearts were pure and who sought knowledge over power. Alaric, captivated, found himself returning to the clearing day after day. He didn't come as a prince seeking to break a curse with a grand gesture. He came as a friend. He brought her stories from the outside world, descriptions of bustling cities, the taste of sea salt, the sounds of a festival. In return, Elara taught him the language of the woods. She showed him how to understand the songs of the birds, how to read the history of the land in the rings of a fallen tree, and how to find healing herbs that grew only in the moonlight. Their conversations flowed like the spring in her clearing, sometimes bubbling with laughter, other times deep and thoughtful. Alaric learned that her curse was tied to a single, ancient moon-petal flower that bloomed only once a century in the deepest part of the woods. The legend said that if the flower's nectar was willingly given to another, the curse would be broken. But there was a catch. The moment the curse was broken, Elara would begin to age normally, and all her memories of her timeless existence within the woods would fade like a dream upon waking. She would forget the language of the trees, the songs of the birds, and, most cruelly, she would forget Alaric and the time they had spent together. This revelation fell upon Alaric like a physical blow. He had come to love Elara, not just her ethereal beauty, but her spirit, her wisdom, her deep connection to the world. To free her would be to lose her. The very essence of the woman he loved was intertwined with the curse that imprisoned her. For the first time, Alaric understood the true cruelty of her fate. It wasn't just imprisonment, it was a choice between oblivion and a lonely eternity. He spent days wrestling with this dilemma. He could leave, let her remain in her timeless, peaceful solitude. Or he could break the curse, giving her a mortal life, but erasing the person he had come to know. What right did he have to make that choice for her? He spoke to her about it, his voice heavy with the weight of the decision. He laid out the two paths before her, the eternal twilight or the bright, fleeting day of a mortal life. Elara listened, her gaze serene. She had watched generations of mortals live and die from her timeless perch. She had seen their joys, their sorrows, their brief, brilliant flashes of existence. To live, she said softly, her voice like the rustling of leaves, is to change, Alaric. To love is to risk loss. I have been a spectator for too long. I want to feel the sun on my skin and know that it will set. I want to feel the sting of a cold winter and know that spring will follow. I want to have a memory to lose. Her words were a gift, a release. She was choosing life in all its messy, painful, beautiful imperfection. And she was choosing it even if it meant she would forget him. That, Alaric realized, was the ultimate act of love. Not a grand, heroic rescue, but a quiet, selfless sacrifice. Together, they journeyed to the heart of the woods, to a hidden grotto where the moon petal flower grew. It was a place of immense power, pulsating with the ancient magic of the forest. The flower itself was breathtaking, its petals like solidified moonlight, radiating a soft, calming luminescence. As the moon rose to its zenith, the flower opened, releasing a single perfect drop of glowing nectar onto a leaf below. Elara looked at Alaric, her eyes filled with 1,000 unspoken words. There was no fear, only a profound sense of gratitude and a deep, heartbreaking love. "Thank you," she whispered, "for showing me a world worth choosing." He nodded, his own heart too full for words. With a steady hand, she caught the drop of nectar in a small vial. She did not drink it. Instead, she turned to him. "The legend says it must be willingly given to another," she reminded him gently. "It does not say who must drink it." Understanding dawned on Alaric, a wave of shock and awe. She was offering him a choice. He could drink it, and he would be bound to the woods with her, sharing her timeless existence. They would have an eternity together, two unchanging souls in an enchanted forest. Or he could refuse, and she would drink, gaining her freedom but losing all memory of him. He looked into her eyes, seeing the endless love reflected there. An eternity with her was a tempting paradise. But it would be a gilded cage, just as the woods had been for her. It would mean stealing her choice, her chance at a real mortal life. His love for her was not about possession, it was about wanting her to be truly free, to be happy, even if that happiness didn't include him. Slowly, he shook his head, a single tear tracing a path down his cheek. He gently pushed the vial back towards her. "Your life is your own, Elara," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "Go live it." A sad, beautiful smile touched her lips. She brought the vial to her lips and drank the nectar. A brilliant, warm light enveloped her, so bright that Alaric had to shield his eyes. When the light faded, she was still there, but she was different. The ancient wisdom in her eyes was gone, replaced by a gentle, human curiosity. She looked at the woods with a sense of faint, dreamlike familiarity. Then she looked at Alaric, a stranger in her clearing. "Hello," she said, her voice clear and new. "You're a long way from any town. Are you lost?" His heart broke and swelled at the same time. He had lost her, and he had saved her. He introduced himself simply as Alaric, a traveler. He offered to guide her out of the woods, back to the world of mortals. She agreed, and as they walked, he began to tell her stories. Stories of bustling cities, the taste of sea salt, and the sounds of a festival. And as he spoke, he saw a spark of interest in her eyes, a flicker of a new beginning. He led her back to his kingdom, not as a long-lost maiden, but as a newfound friend named Elara. He didn't tell her of her past, of their shared moments in the Whispering Woods. He let her be new, and he began the slow, patient, wonderful process of helping her fall in love with the world all over again. And in time, he hoped she might just fall in love with the kind traveler who found her in the woods. Their love story wasn't one of a curse broken by a kiss, but one that was timeless, not because it was eternal, but because it was strong enough to begin again. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.